Good morning. We will switch to English now because that's the only thing I can do, I'm afraid. So I hope your English is a lot better than my Hungarian is. I am here this morning to tell you about Computing at School. That is an organization that we have founded in the UK and England, and what we have done to bring computer science back into the curriculum, into the school curriculum in England. There is now a widespread recognition in most countries in Europe that digital education has to be strengthened, it has to be brought back into schools in just about every country. In England, we are maybe a couple of years ahead of some of the other countries, and I want to tell you on one hand what we have done so far and how we have achieved what we have achieved. But I also want to talk more specifically not only about digital technologies in general, but about computer science. What is important in our view is that computer science as a discipline is brought into schools, into the curriculum. Digital technologies is a very broad term that can mean many things, and it can mean such a wide range of things that I think it is too broad to be useful to describe what we want to do specifically, and I will talk a little bit about the difference. First thing, a quote that I really liked from Richard Riley: education should prepare young people for jobs that do not yet exist, using technologies that have not yet been invented to solve problems of which we are not yet aware. And that is the challenge that we are facing. It is a big ask, this is a big challenge, but it is a challenge that we have taken on in England and that I think every education system in every country has to take on. You have to lead the developments that are going to happen and not run after what has already happened. In England, we had a subject until last year in school that was called ICT, Information and Communication Technology. That subject in the schools, in the curriculum, was mostly concerned with teaching competent use of computer applications. It was digital literacy, use of word processors, presentation, spreadsheets, and a little bit of databases. This is a very important topic, but while it is useful, it is not enough. These are skills that date very quickly, that are surface skills, that are, while being useful, does not equip children of today with the skills they really need. What we really want in schools is computer science. Computer science is not ICT. And you in this room here may understand this, but that was the first struggle that we had to fight, is to tell people what the difference is. The ICT education, learning how to format a paragraph in Word, was seen by many, including teachers in schools and many parents, as computer science. And this confusion of thinking that this subject, which undoubtedly is useful, but because it happens on computer, is computer science, is the first misconception that we had to struggle against. Computer science is about principles. It's a scientific discipline with its own principles, its own ideas, its own techniques, and with theory behind it. And these are things in computer science that do not date, that are not different from year by year. They are scientific foundations of a discipline that we have to teach the children in school. The term computer science, at least the English term, computer science, is somewhat unfortunate because computer science is not mainly about computers. The term informatics, which is used much more in Europe than in the Anglo-Saxon space, is a much better term because at least it is not about the device. It is a science of information processing. Computer science, it's about information and computation, and it's about algorithms and about processes. It is a fundamental discipline, and the skills that one learns in computer science are about abstraction and modeling. They're about computational thinking. It is not about just the surface skills of using a computer. And programming. Programming is sort of one of the controversial things in computer science education. There is one camp that thinks it's too hard, it's too specific, we shouldn't do it at all. And then there is another approach to computer science education in schools that is very theory-based, that wants to do computer science, and they're arguing that programming is too hands-on, it's not enough, it's too surface. And what we are arguing is that programming is a fundamental part, in fact, is the door, the entrance into computer science, and it is important to do it early and to do it well and to do a lot of it. And I will talk a little bit about that a little more. But first I want to talk about why should we teach every child in school computer science. After all, we do not want every child to become a computer scientist. Not everyone has to become a computer scientist, so why do we want to teach every child in school some computer science? We can also ask, why do we do that with other scientific subjects? Why do we teach physics and chemistry to every child? After all, we do not want all children to become chemists or become physicists. The fact just is that for an educated, informed citizen in a society, it is important to have a proper understanding of the world around you. And these sciences, chemistry and physics, equip a person to develop a proper understanding of the world, a proper education that you can interact with and influence the world around you. It has long been recognized in every education system that is necessary. The same is true now for computer science. In a modern digital world, the world around us is digital. It is based on computing technologies, and for any person to be an educated, participating citizen in a modern society, you have to have some understanding of the principles of computing and computation. You cannot be an educated, informed citizen today in this world without having some understanding of computer science. So what we want to achieve is two things. First of all, we want to educate every child in the foundations, the principles, and the theory of digital technologies of computer science, so that they can judge what is going around them, so that they can see the possibilities and the opportunities and also the limitations and the dangers of the things that are happening around them. You cannot participate in political or social debate today without any understanding about these areas. Digital voting, for example, is that a good thing? Or is it a bad thing? Are there dangers? You know, should I support it? Should I be against it? Or privacy discussion. There are important political discussions going on. The data that is collected by Facebook, what can they do with it? Is that a good thing? Is it dangerous? Should we support it? Should we limit it? There are many things in the debate in society today where you need an understanding of computational principles to take part in the debate in an informed way. And then secondly, on top of educating every child about the basics, we want to give every child the opportunity to study computer science in a deeper way. So computer science as an in-depth study subject should be available as a choice for every child, so that the children of today can become the next wave of people who can shape the future of this society and of this country. If you do not do this, then your next generation will be a generation of people who use informational technologies that are created and controlled by others. You need a generation that can participate in the creation of these things, so that you have the people that can create the next Microsoft and the next Google and the next Apple. That is what the society has to strive for and what is needed for the economy. There is no area anymore in business, in economic activity or in science that is not deeply affected by computer science. Computer science as a discipline, as a foundation, influences just about every other activity today. And I know that many other sciences claim that as well, but of computer science it is actually true. If you look at, for example, the Nobel Prize for Chemistry in 2013, the Nobel Prize Committee, the Nobel Prize for Chemistry was given for computational modeling of chemical processes. And the committee, in its justification of that, said that there is essentially no innovation at the moment in chemistry anymore that is not driven by computational simulations of chemical processes. It is computer science. Computer science determines how science is done today in any discipline and what science is done. Computer science is necessary for scientific endeavor as much as for commercial endeavor. And of course, we want these people to get jobs, to create jobs, and to create the next innovations. So let me tell you a bit about CAS. CAS is an acronym for Computing at School. That is the organization that we founded in England. It was formed in 2008. It is a proper grassroots organization. It was started by 20 people coming together without any mandate, without any funding, without any structure, and just starting to do things. We were concerned about the state of computer science in schools in England, and we decided to do something about it. So we started working to form an organization, and now 6 years later what we have achieved is that the school subject has been rebranded. ICT is gone. We now have computer science as a subject of study in every year in every school in England. In 2008 when we started, there were no GCSEs, and I will not explain the intricacies of the English education systems in detail. The GCSE is a compulsory test when they are about 15 or 16 years old, and they are managed by awarding bodies. The details are not important, but the fact is that 5 years ago there was no opportunity to study computer science in this, have that as part of this test, and now it is in every school. CAS does two things overall. Well, CAS does many things, but we can group it into two. One is advocacy, that is talking to people on the outside, that is talking to government and to industry, and to make sure that people understand that computer science is a discipline like maths or physics or the others, and that it is important both for education and for the industry. And then the other side of the coin is CAS is a community of practice. CAS is an organization that is there for the teachers, to support teachers and to enable them to teach the subject, because the one big problem that you get when you actually succeed in convincing your government that computer science should be in schools, the problem then is that actually you don't have the teachers to do it. That is the problem in England, and that will be the problem in most countries, in that suddenly last year our education minister turned around and agreed with us and said, okay, every school now starting from this autumn shall teach computer science. And suddenly our problem fundamentally changed. Before that our problem was to convince people that this is a good idea. Now we had the problem that the education minister turned around and looked at us and said, and you're going to make it happen. And so we have now a massive teacher training challenge. Many of the ICT teachers that are in place are not computer science teachers. They don't have a background in computer science, and many of them are quite scared. It's a big challenge for them to teach something that they're not properly trained in, and we have a massive challenge now to roll out teacher training, and that is one of the main activities of CAS. We are an organization that provides help and support and training for teachers in the country. It is still very much a grassroots organization. One of the mantras that we always say, so our motto is what I've here at the bottom of the slide: there is no them, there is only us. We have to get people away from the thinking as that there is somewhere this magic sort of big, well-funded, organized organization that will solve the problems for them. There is no organization. CAS is just us. Now we now have a little bit of a structure to run this because we have grown, but there is no big magic wand that we can wave that makes things happen. What we require to do is for everyone, the teachers in the school, to just do their bit, and everyone just go ahead and do something and take challenges on. And that has worked very, very well for us. CAS is run still as a volunteer organization with many people participating. So professional development is coordinated by CAS now, but it is done by many, many volunteers. The impact that we have had, CAS now is a community that people can sign up to. We have more than 19,000 members. In a few years, every month, almost 500 new people sign up. at the moment. Most of them are teachers, so a lot of the computer science teachers in the country have signed up to KAS. We have an online presence, that is an online community website that facilitates discussion and sharing of resources, and we are actually just about to hit 20,000 people that are signed up there. But the other thing, apart from the online presence that is important, are local hubs. Local hubs are meetings that are run by volunteers, people stepping forward to organize regular meetings. Some meet every 2 weeks, some meet once a month, some every 2 months. It is completely up to the people organizing the local hubs, and they run face-to-face regular meetings to support teachers in their local areas. We have founded a network of excellence where we have asked for volunteer schools to take the lead. These schools and master teachers that are in those schools, the master teachers could apply and they get a certificate. They get some support from us in that we put them in contact with universities, and they are then expected to pass that knowledge on to other local schools around them. So we have a sort of a bottom-up approach where we start with some schools, the ones that are easy to work with because they have enthusiastic volunteers who step forward and want to do this, and they then can take it on. This is on the map marked every place where we have a hub in the country. Now 90% of the population in England live within 20 miles of a KAS hub. So, and this is something that I think you cannot create top-down by just decreeing that this should happen. This is something that has happened through volunteer activity. We have more than 3,000 resources on our community website. These are all uploaded by volunteers. Our resource section is a wiki-style section, which means everyone can edit anything, anyone can upload anything, anyone can improve what is there, and there are many, many useful resources that are of professional level quality that get gradually improved by people adding their bits to it and improving things. There's a discussion section, and in the discussion it's very active. This month alone there are over 2,000 comments on many different threads, and it is important for teachers to feel that they are not alone. And you don't get that with one-off workshops. If you do a one-day workshop or a 3-day or a 1-week workshop, if it just ends there, the impact is very limited. Teachers are not in a position after a workshop that just ends then go into their classroom and a few months later then do something. What is required is ongoing support, that they know that there is ongoing help and a place they can go to when they have a problem. We have a newsletter that we send around with many interesting stories, and we have a national curriculum now, where in the national curriculum that was written by KAS, that is now adopted across the country by all awarding bodies of the schools. And I think, you know, the aim stated at the beginning of the national curriculum is sort of one of the clearest, most sort of optimistic formulations that I have seen in any curriculum. I won't read all of this out to you, but I want to draw your attention to two parts of expression in this wording. Repeated practical experience, and we want to create confident and creative users of information technology. That is, it is very much a curriculum that is based in creativity and practice. So we don't want, on one hand, just the consumption and use of information technology. We don't want, on the other end of the scale, a very theory, mathematics heavy introduction. We want a computer science introduction that creates makers, that creates people that go and do things, where being active, creating things, programming is at the heart of computer science, where creativity, curiosity, and exploration is at the heart of how we teach things. And that can be done in primary school. You can teach computer science in primary school. Computer science is not only sitting at the screen. It is not sitting in a dark cellar room with a pizza and a can of Coke and unwashed hair and never talking to anyone. That is not computer science. I have one short video here of a computer science activity. This is about teaching sorting algorithms. And so here is a, oops, let me go back. I just try to start this. No, come on, will it start? It doesn't. have to figure out how to start this video. There we go. This illustrates how you can teach sorting algorithm. This is a diagram illustrating one specific sorting algorithm, how by swapping locations of numbers you can sort an array of numbers. And you can teach this, as you can see here, by drawing your sorting grid on the floor and have the children play out the algorithm. This is a way how you can teach computational thinking and how you can teach computer science. And when the children play that through, at the end, as you can see, they come out and the numbers are sorted. This is a way how you can teach computer science. You can do it with larger numbers. You cannot only use the numbers of 1 to 6, or you can do it with a larger number of children. And this is the kind of teaching that is possible in computer science when you look at the pedagogy and what is out there. Ideas and resources to teach like this are available now. Here's another pedagogical environment that we're using, where we're using games and simulations and other creative things as a basis to teach programming. So programming does not need to be a mathematical discipline where you first have to go through a series of math tests and be one of the math stars to be admitted into computer science. Programming is the creative side of computer science. There is a natural inbuilt affinity of humans about creative endeavor. Everyone likes to make things, and making things can be different things. It can be baking for some people, it can be making music, it can be knitting, it can be painting. For computer science, the making of things is programming, and it is important to start with something that motivates the children and start with activities that are fascinating, that are engaging, and these kinds of things are the things that you can do to start getting children interested in programming and through programming in computer science. Thank you very much.